And that's what we've been doing for the last 6 days now with the current book, which is, anybody got the book you can hold up? There you go. The Course in Miracles Experiment by Pam Grout. Mine's on my iPad. I'm traveling, so I have to travel lightly, and that means my books are on the digital version right now. But I am just so enjoying the Course in Miracles Experiment. I started studying the Course in Miracles 35 years ago, and I had the 3 books, the 3 big, thick books, and did group discussions about it because, it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around it sometimes. But I just wanted to hear your all's experience from these past 6 days. But first, how many of you, or who, I should say, is new to the Course in Miracles? Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love that we're doing it with this book because Pam is such an amazing author, and she brings things to where we can understand it. She uses everyday things to do explanations and help us resonate in a way that we can understand and look at something and say, oh, I get that. And I know those first few lessons were kind of difficult, weren't they? So I've heard from some of you. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about deconstructing our belief systems. That's what we were doing.
Yeah, the first day for me was like, looking around, a couple days, I don't understand this. I gave that meaning. And then when I got to day 4, fire the negative committee that meets inside your head, that clicked. That was like, that's it. I get it now. That was powerful for me.
I think with me, it was around the 3rd day when I realized that I had to associate what she was saying with something I knew, which was in teaching, we talk about filters, how we all see things through filters that we've had ingrained in our head. And I realized what she was doing was trying to make us realize to let those filters down, that they don't have meaning according to the filters we already have. So we had to let go of them. Then it clicked what she was trying. Before I was like, I don't understand what she wants me to do. So that it was about the 3rd lesson, I think, that it finally clicked. Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it was good that I was so exhausted and had traveled so much because my brain was already done and I just gave into the process. I didn't even fight it. I was like, okay. And, just was, because before, I think if I was all sharp, I would question it. I'd be like, oh, I struggle with this, but I'm too tired for that. So right now I'm just letting it unfold. And it's okay. So far I like it.
Yeah. You know what I thought of when we started the very first lesson? I thought of our Marietta, accept, align, allow. And that's really what we did. If we really went into the energy of saying, nothing in this room has any meaning to me. There's, it's nothing. And that's the acceptance. That's accepting that we can step away from it. Because so many times we give that powerful meaning to things and to people. And really, if we step back and just accept and look at it, then we can go into aligning our energy with who we truly are. And that's what that deconstructing was all about. It's having us look at what are we placing our energy into? And do I still believe that way? Do I still believe that something is powerful? So I loved it. I loved just going into that AAA energy with this whole Course in Miracles. It all falls together, doesn't it?
In a practical way, I'm going to translate that to my Christmas decorations next year. That's the first thing I thought about. What is meaningful from what I put up, what really means something. And I looked around, I was like, well, I don't really care about that too much. So you know what? Next year I tackle it different. I'm going to put up what's meaningful to me. And that's the practical application to it.
That's funny. That's what I did too when I was taking it down. I have 6, 7 boxes of stuff that we didn't even use for the last 3 or 4 years. So I made a new bin of everything that I like to look at, and the rest are going.
Yes, me too.
You know, it was similar experience for me. At first I was like, look at anything in this room. Well, I can't tell this plant that it doesn't have any meaning. And I can't tell my cat that it doesn't have any meaning, or my people, you know. But then it was like, oh, wait a minute. And so I just skipped those things. But you're right. It was amazing how I was like, well, I can say that about that with like no problem at all. And then there were other things that I was like, well, that does have meaning to me. But yeah. It was interesting how that kind of prioritized things. But I did notice as I went on, I was confused as well. And whoops, hang on, I got a cat. And like
That cat has
Suzanne,
meaning.
yes, right. The cat has meaning, I can't. But like Suzanne, I'm so glad that the first day that I opened it, I was also a little tired and I was just not feeling into it. So I'm glad that I didn't take it trying to figure out what was happening, and I just went along with it. And it did open itself up to very quickly, actually. Like you said, within the first 5 probably lessons, it really becomes apparent of what you're really doing and changing those thought patterns.
Day 4 kicks in. By day 4, you're like, okay.
Oh yeah, got it now. Yeah.
I think it's 4 where she says, "Oh, good, you're still here." So there must be a lot of that happens. You know?
I love
Yeah.
witty writing, though. If it's written fun, it's so fun to read. To me, I totally relate with that. Especially the first one I did years ago was the one you got every day an email. And I started and I immediately quit because it was so dry and it was so tough. And especially for me, translating it too just did not resonate. So this I totally get and I love it.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I hung in there years ago. I didn't understand it. I wanted to understand it, but it wasn't in this like fun, open way. It was just the writing that was downloaded that came through that, you just get confused sometimes. And especially if you're trying to do it on your own. But I was meeting with the group every week and we were all confused. We were all like, I don't know what this means. But I'm glad that I hung in there with it because over the years, this has helped me so much to really look at, okay, do I still have that belief system? Do I still think that has power? And we give things power. And that's the whole concept behind this. What power are we giving to material things or to other people? That's important too. It's like, where are we giving our power away? And do we still have that belief system that person is so powerful or that thing is so powerful? Charlie, I want to hear from you.
Well, I was the same way in the beginning, like, what the hell are they talking about? Erica was sitting next to me. I said, she don't mean anything, my daughter's here, everything. And I'm like, well, that can't be, and I'm like, oh, and Erica was like, what the hell talking about? And, so it was like, but like you say, I guess the 6th lesson, I think, was, what was that? Today? That's today's lesson.
That's today. I love today's lesson.
Yes, I love today's lesson too, with the Wonder Woman and, and the characters. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm starting to realize what they're trying to get to here, how it's just starting to come into focus, I guess you would say. And and it resonated with me, and like what the dude's saying, you know, that I love you and I love you and I love you. And Erica had me read it to her this morning over the phone when she was at work. And I even added it at the end. And I like how they did the 3 I loves you, because everything with me, the 3 resonates. And I added an expletive before the last one. But I said,
you're a bad boy.
but they didn't say that. But you know, but I added it. You know, so we, you know, I'm having fun with it. I'm having fun with it. It's good.
Yes, you are.
And with the super, they used to call me Super Chuck, but you know, Charles, Charlie, but I used to turn into Super Chuck. So it like brought back, you know, of you know, it resonated like so. Mary Lou's here.
Hi,
Finally
Mary Lou.
made it. Hi, I finally made it.
Yay.
I had to reboot the whole Zoom thing, but
Oh.
it worked.
But you're
Good.
here.
Good.
We can't
Yay.
see you, but we can hear your beautiful voice.
Oh, I wonder what, do I need to do something? I'll push
Just
the
turn
plus.
your video on.
Start video.
Okay.
There you go. I asked you to start your video. Let's see if it'll work.
There you
There you
go.
are.
Oh, I love that
Hi,
beautiful
everybody.
smile.
I missed you so much last week.
We missed you.
I'm glad I'm on.
I missed you too last week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're talking about the first 6 lessons in the Course in Miracles experiment. Mary Lou, was it
Okay.
you that just got your book?
No, I have my book and
You
I've
have
been
it.
reading.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been reading. I love it. I love it. It's a
Good.
little different. You know, I think I had a hard time with some of the suggestions that she's telling us, because I'm more apt to focus on positive things. So I don't like looking at saying something and saying, you're not there, you don't matter. Everything matters to me.
Right.
You know, I know that it's a process that we're experiencing. So I just do it.
Good. And yeah, and we were just sharing that, you know, those first ones were so difficult because it goes against what we've been taught, what we've always thought. And so, but it's just tearing all of those beliefs down to where we can really look at them. And now we get to the point of really looking at what's important. And I love today's lesson. I just really so resonated with today. And the one thing I highlighted, I figured out how to highlight on the iPad, on Kindle. The one thing I highlighted is I'm upset because I see something that is not there. And, you know, so many times when I've let myself get upset in the past, I've projected that blame onto something or someone or some situation. You know, you made me mad. Anybody else ever said that besides me? You make me so mad.
Yeah.
And I've heard that from others in my life. You make me so mad. And that always had that little tingle of like, what? How do I make anybody mad? How do I have that much power? It's because we give our power away. We put energy into that person or that thing or that situation and see it as having power. So that's what was deconstructed in the very beginning. It's like, you know, it only has the meaning that we put into it.
Right.
So if you're having that thought that somebody's making you mad, then it's time to look at that and say, okay, what power am I giving to that?
And it makes sense to me as well, because I can look at an object and say, that means X, Y, and Z to me. And one of you can look at it and say, I don't see that. Mm-hmm. So it is really, if it was true and that had that meaning, everybody would have the same feeling.
And I think it goes along with day 5. What I like, I think that's the one where she says, if you look in the mirror and your mascara is smeared, you won't fix it in the mirror. I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty an eye opener, like, you know, you have to fix it all in you, not externally. So
Right.
for me, that was a little revelation. I mean, I knew that, but it's somebody reminded me of, true, I can only fix myself, like you say now, day 6, to say it doesn't exist, you know, it doesn't have to exist. And so I thought it was cool.
I even had that experience today, Terry, of saying, my door's closed. I want to tell my husband, you know, something, you make me negative. I'm not negative, but you make me negative. Well, that's not true. He doesn't make me negative. I make myself negative. You know, I pick up on things that he says, and then I start feeling negative. And you know, you can't think that way. You got to realize it's inside yourself. It's not outside yourself. You know, like if I got away from you, I wouldn't be negative. No, you'd probably still be negative at certain times. You gotta, you know, you have to think that because it's really about you. So I appreciated that lesson. Yeah.
And it's kind of like for me, this whole Zoom situation, you know, I kept, you know, unplugging things and plugging things back in. And I was looking everywhere to figure it out. And I had to, you know, just let it, you know, sit with me. And, you know, you know, my husband said, should I unplug everything? And I said, we could do that, but, you know, typically that would help, but it's just Zoom I'm having trouble with. So then it occurred to me, go to Zoom and, you know, and redo everything with Zoom. And so, you know, you have to kind of go to the heart of the situation. You know, I wanted to blame everybody and everything and in my computer and the printer that I just put in and everything. I just couldn't figure out, how am I going to fix this? You know, and I had to go kind of like to the heart of the matter with the center of it, which was the Zoom thing. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Does make
Yeah,
sense.
Totally does.
makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful. And, you know, I so appreciate, Suzanne, you bringing out that line about looking in the mirror and trying to fix something on the mirror instead of fixing it where the problem really is, which is inside, because we're all mirrors of each other. We've heard that saying for so many years, and now it totally clicks in and makes sense, doesn't it? We're all mirroring something to you. So if you're
I
trying to
struggle.
fix somebody,
I
Yeah.
struggle with that a little bit still, that we're all mirrors of each other. I've heard that a bunch of times, and each time I have problems understanding it.
Yeah, but I got it this time. This
Yeah.
time it really came through because I agree with you with that feeling that I have experienced too with that. You know, why is this making me so angry? Oh, well, if this is really making you very angry or very hurt or it's time to step in. And I needed a reminder of that recently myself. It's time to step in and just kind of, you know, where's the work on me? You know, why am I allowing myself to, you know, or having these feelings? And then you can be empowered by that because you truly can fix yourself, even if you can't fix anything else. You know, I mean, you can have that ability to go into something and change its energy for yourself. And that's, you know, I mean, I'm sitting here, I was trying to fix my hair the other day in Zoom. And it was when this came out and that was mine. I'm like, I kept touching the wrong side, like, you know, and I'm like, I'm not getting it. And it's like, no, you're not getting it. You're not looking at, you're looking at outwardly instead of just inwardly.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
And I can piggyback off of Keith's book as well when he said to find your perfect mate, you've got to be those things.
Mhm.
So you have to go back and write your list of what you want in a person, and you need to become that person.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you should have told me that 30 years ago.
We're a little late for you, huh?
A little late for me.
I think it was about 30 years ago. I tried to do the Course in Miracles as well, and I just couldn't stay in it. So maybe I just, it wasn't time. I had to learn those lessons a little bit differently, or more time on them or something. But speaking of time, I do want to share with anybody, especially who's listening, about this book. One of the blessings in this is the 5 minutes or less to do each one of these. I don't have to take a huge chunk of time, and there are 365 days worth of these less than 5 minute pieces, and that's just a lot more workable into my life in general, and it reminds me that it's okay to take 5 minutes. It would be great if I could take even longer, but it's a good first step, I think, for people who may not take time out. It's a good first step in just taking that 5 minutes. And then hopefully it will go from there, where you can start nurturing yourself and giving yourself more time. But I think that's really the first lesson, is to give yourself 5 minutes a day to do something for yourself.
Well said.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. And, my beautiful friend Jean gave me a brand new journal for this year. And I am using that journal for writing notes after I've done the lesson. So after I do the exercise, I know we're supposed to do it like a couple times a day, whatever that focus is that we're supposed to do. After that, I just sit with my journal, and I'm not even writing sentences. That's the beauty of it. That's how this is changing me, because I used to have to write it out, starting with I, da, da, da. It's just whatever words come through, whatever thought comes through, that's what's going into my journal. And I was flipping back over this week and I thought, wow, there's some really powerful stuff that comes out when we just lose all the limits, when we don't look at something like, I have to do it this way. I think that's what this course is teaching me more than anything. I don't have to do it this way, like I always thought it had to be done. And I can just free flow thoughts and put words down without having to make a complete sentence. I love that. And I love how that's the change that I've made in these last 6 days.
I'm right there with you on that as well. When I write in a journal, it's the date, and then it's so formal. But lately, like I started one out the other day, WTF. That's how I started it. Like,
this must be a message for me, because I just read this morning on my Facebook page from a friend, a statement that says, I'm dating myself not because of the color of my hair, but because I have to write full sentences when I'm texting. In other words, you don't have to do all the words, just do a couple here and there and people get it, on their texting. Instagram, I don't even do it because, I think you can't do full sentences or something. I don't know. If it's an Instagram, that's probably not for me, because I like full sentences and stories.
That's how people on the other. That's how people on the other side talk to us. They don't use full sentences.
Oh, you're right, Charlie. Right?
Yes, you are. Wow.
It's
yeah,
symbolism.
you have to interpret, because they send me text messages all the time, so I get messages all. Yes, I do. Tell the dog. Say, hey, they're coming. They're right here.
We talked about it.
The dog can feel them, it's crazy.
But it's so true, though. They cut away. Why are you saying that? They do have a way of cutting away any extra. Like, they don't have time for any of the extras or any of the things that make it flowery, or I don't know, exaggerate. I don't know. That is so profound, Charlie. Yeah, another statement by our Charlie. that it's just really.
I'll give
It's
you
true.
I'll give you an example. I'll pull it up on my phone. Oh, where is it? Where I gotta go back to Messenger. Yeah, it was. What had happened is a friend of mine's sister passed away, and the very next day, I was texting with Erica, and I go to pick up the phone, to text back her, and it's already in there, and it's the letter S, Y-A, so yeah, the letter J, and hi. And that was the girl that passed away. His name was Joyce. So say Joyce hi. So that was my wife telling me that Joyce says hi.
Wow.
That's why I can't do that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's how they talk to us, So
Yeah,
You
no,
do
that is
figure
how
it
they
out,
talk.
right?
Yeah.
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 I
It's-
used to have to say to my daughter, "What does that mean?" She'd say, SYL, and I'd be, "What is SYL? See you later." It's another whole language, but
Yeah.
maybe it's better.
Yeah. So
They
yeah.
say
Yeah,
less is more.
I just thought I'd share that with you. That's.
It's awesome,
Yeah.
Charlie.
I love that.
I love it too. And we've been told for years, keep it simple. There's a word after that I won't say. But,
Yeah, right.
but it's yes, keep it simple.
Yes.
And if we can follow that.
Keep it simple, Sally. We'll go with Sally.
Okay, keep it simple, Sally. Thank you, Charlie. But yeah, less is more. And you focus on what's important, not those other little fill-in words that we don't need anyway. And I think a lot of other countries, a lot of other languages look at our language like, what are you all thinking?
Yeah.
I have to say though, German has 3 articles. You guys only have 1.
Okay.
That's more than one.
And you know what struck me in the first chapter? They tell you, that nothing means anything or whatever, or
Mhm.
and then in the second one, they want you to see the meaning in everything. So
I
like,
know, Charlie. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's like, nothing has a meaning, but then they want you to see the meaning. I'm like, what? Where are they going with this?
That's how they're testing you. They're just cleaning us right out of all those preconceived notions.
I'm like, what the hell?
But they're showing you that you're the one who puts the meaning on the thing. It
Yeah.
by itself has no meaning, but you put meaning on it. So
No, but then
Gene.
lesson 2, I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me.
Mhm. And that's so true.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past,
Seriously.
I couldn't get past the rock. I mean, she used the rock as
I
the
know.
bouncer. And I'm like, do I really want to have the bouncer go away? He's pretty cute.
He's pretty cute.
All I was thinking about was the rock the whole time.
Well, we could exchange him for Matthew McConaughey,
there you go.
I like that.
There you
But did the
go.
rock write a book? Because we could also do his.
But for me, it was funny because I had been traveling, so I was behind with the book. I didn't come home till Sunday night, right? So I'm sitting here doing day 1, 2, and 3. I'm sitting in the same room looking at this first no meaning, that I gave it some meaning. And it was okay too. It was like just, I guess, doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
another
like she
thing.
said in that, I'm sorry, like she said in that first chapter, you don't have to understand it, just do it.
Just do it.
That's what I was
And
going
I'm
to say.
so
right?
glad she added that. I'm glad she added it
Yeah,
Because
that's how it
otherwise
goes.
I would have been like, oh my God, right off the first chapter, I don't get it. Just right away.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so
Absolutely.
the original
Parent.
course doesn't tell you that. So I'm so glad she did. And
Yeah.
Jean, I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. Go ahead with your
that's
thoughts.
okay. But I just was going to say that I like that too, because I always felt behind in the other books because I couldn't find time to read it. Oops. And then I would hurry up at the end and read it, which means that I didn't have very much time to think about it and mull it over and give it some, meaning. And with these short ones, you don't feel that pressure because you can find a little time to read, and then you have some time to mull it over and to think about it, and
Yeah.
even if you're late like I was today, it's short enough that you can, as long as you have 10 or 15 minutes, you're okay. So that's a benefit for me.
I think it won't burn us out. It slowly deconstructs us. And that's what I appreciate about it.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All good change takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we say, I don't have to rush, I don't have to understand it all at one time. I'm going to take it in little pieces and let that soak in and understand what's happening here is we're looking at our belief system. That's really what we're doing. We're looking at a belief system, and then we're applying that to our everyday lives. What meaning did I give to that thing that upset me so much? Whether it was a person or a thing, what meaning was I giving to it? And why? Why did I do that? Why did I give my power away?
I had an incident like that, and it amazed me because I tried to merge, and this lady would speed up with me and not let me merge, and I was running out of lane. And in my heart, I got from 0 to 100 boiling. I was boiling angry. How can that person do that to me? Because it's a hazard. You're in traffic, just let me merge. And it made me think, though. I thought, how did I give that woman that power to make me boil? And after that, and I mean, that's a couple months ago, I regrouped. I was like, that won't happen to me ever again. And I've gotten better. I was like, I don't give my power away, especially in traffic like that. But that was an eye opener. So this book will, reinforce. This will be good for me.
Yeah, I've changed too. That I used to be and go after people, whatever. Now it's like, okay. I just smile and have a nice day, whatever.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
As long as you don't watch the clouds while you're driving, Charlie, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I had to really work on the lesson 4 with the negative committee.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Simon Cowell. Oh, again, another good analogy. I was also thinking like maybe with the gentleman from Hell's Kitchen, because he just
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would be crying if somebody was telling me. Well, I was trying to do something, but it's true. Our own negative committee goes on in there, and they're saying those nasty things, and it's like, no, get out of here, Simon Cowell. You are not allowed.
Yeah. We're our own worst critics, always. We can take ourselves down faster than anybody else can.
Oh, Terry,
And-
that's true with me.
Me too.
And it's all up to us to if we let them in, That's,
And sometimes you have days and you just start and you go down and let it happen and feel worse. And I really have to work on myself to stop. Say it's not true, really, right? But I mean, it's tough sometimes.
yeah.
The ego saying, it's the ego for me anyway. Just like if I was cut off, I was actually cut off on a merge too last week, and I was just so mad for a second. And then I got over it so fast, and I got to the red light, and I looked at the lady, and she was looking at me, and I was just like, "Hi, how are you?" I'm not gonna fight with
Good
you.
for you, Stacy.
Yeah.
Y'all are making me feel bad.
Ugh.
I obviously have more work to do because somebody did pull over for a fire truck the other day, and again, my window came down so that I could flash a sign.
Yeah, it takes
So
sometimes
if somebody cuts me off, I now just say, blessings to you.
sometimes it takes
There's a great
Daniel Rengekyo totally throws them. They don't know. You're cussing
There's a
them out
great
of
thing
it.
along with that, with those lines, with that thinking. You know, every time you point your finger at somebody, there's 3 more pointing at you.
Mhm.
And that kind of helps me when I'm in those situations. Oh, think about yourself, because there's 3 things you need to see from this instead of looking at what they're doing wrong. What are you doing? You know, how are they taking that positive energy away from me? Because I want that. I feel better. I feel healthier. I feel happier when I can turn it around quick, you know. And that just that pointing the finger thing used to help me, you know, when I was trying to create that new place in my being, you know.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, it's just a little tool, you know, that
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure that we all heard it, right, when we were kids. Don't point your finger at somebody.
Mhm.
Or was it Jesus who said, don't tell your brother how to take the splinter out of his eye when you have a timber in yours?
Yeah, Jean. Yeah, that's another thought
Yeah.
process.
That is another good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you do is just put out a rose out in front of you, a protective rose, and like anything anybody says just bounces off, and so you don't hear it. Like,
You know, I'm hearing an eye for an eye makes us all blind too.
Yeah.
And that,
Oh,
That's
right,
right.
yeah, yeah,
Yep. Makes us both blind.
makes us both blind, right? Yeah.
And I like the quotes on the top of the page before we actually read. And according to Jim Carrey, he says most of what goes on in your mind doesn't deserve your attention.
That's true. I love Jim Carrey. You know, he really is very deep
Funny.
spiritually.
Is
Yeah,
he?
he's
I
funny.
didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
I just think he's funny, you know, with all the characters that he's been in. One of my daughters absolutely is a fan of his forever. She's always been a Jim Carrey fan, you know, so I kind of enjoyed reading that quote of his.
But
I
yeah,
actually wrote down every one of the quotes. That is one thing I did
You
do
did?
full sentences with, is I did have it. I think I did it to all of them, that I wound up writing that portion down in my journal.
Oh, that's cool.
and like with
Awesome.
Jim Carrey, he did what was it? What was the first one? The animal one, in Miami, Pet Detective.
Pet detective.
The Pet
Yeah.
Detective.
Yeah. And they thought it was going to make nothing, and he had faith in it and went with it and went against what everybody else thought, and look what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's great at manifesting, and he's shared that before.
Yeah.
You know, he just knows in his heart it's going to happen, and it happens.
Right.
And we can really learn from that.
That's proof.
Now, a question I have, because I'm just reading in the book, am I missing something? Am I not doing something? Because I just go in the orange book page by page. Am I supposed to do anything more? Or is that just it? Because I know, Terry, you sent the email with a workbook, but I haven't worked with that. Am I supposed to do that too?
Only if you want. That's just an external app that Pam has developed that every day we can, it has the lesson for the day and it has the exercise to be done. But I can do a screenshot and share that with everybody.
I mean, the exercises in the book as well, right at the bottom of the page, it says what
Yeah, that's what the app
Yeah.
does. It just gives you that.
Okay.
And yeah.
So I'm good with the book. And then the other question I had, now, how do we do it? Is this for the next year or a book club because it has 365 days? Or how
No,
do we continue?
we're going to discuss this book for a month. So the whole month of January will be devoted to the Course in Miracles experiment. And then, if we want to come together occasionally to talk about it with each other, because I love this discussion. I love how it helps to hear other people's viewpoints as well. Then we can do that. Maybe take one of our shows a month and just see how we're doing. Just do a check-in, a Course in Miracles check-in. So if you all want to do that, we can do that very easily.
Yeah.
Our next book is Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. So if you all haven't written that down yet to get it, then we'll start that in February, the first meeting in February.
We need to make our video. Hey.
We need to make
That's
a
right.
video. We're going to make a
video.
video and we're going to send that video to Matthew and say, come talk to us.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
Yes. I
And
had
what-
reached out to Pam Grout and she did answer me back in email that she was interested, that she would come on and meet with us. But I don't have a date that she's going to do that. So I sent her the Zoom link since it's the same every week. And I said, when you're available, just jump in here and discuss with us and meet us and let us meet you. So I'm hoping that she'll do that at some point in January, so we can talk to her.
Nice.
Thanks for asking that, Suzanne, because I think that's what I was kind of, that's what I mean by they truly only are like less than 5 minutes a day of,
Yeah.
and I had trouble with that. So I'm like, I have to be missing something here. So, but no, it's really like that. It's really only 5 minutes.
It's a day.
It
And
is.
you know what?
And-
I was thinking, okay, so after the first, this is easy because we go January 1st, lesson 1, January 2nd, lesson 2. But then I'm like, in February, I'm going to have to be really careful about putting my bookmark on the right page at the right time.
Yeah. Right.
so this,
Right.
This is good to know that it won't be ongoing in that way, that we can
Right,
just
with the-
discuss a general,
Right.
maybe pick out a page that meant something to us.
Yeah, with the
lesson.
book club. Now,
Yeah.
I did restart the Gratitude Happy Hour. Yesterday was the first one. So every week on the Gratitude Happy Hour, I'm going to devote some time to the Course in Miracles experiment and discussing the Course in Miracles. So if you want to come on there and discuss in the audience, or if you want to come on with me, I'm open to that too. But every week I will be spending some time talking about this book and the energy of the Course in Miracles. So even though we're doing a different book on the book club, I'll still keep that discussion going on Tuesdays.
Oh, okay.
And it's awful nice just to be there for that gratitude too. It's a nice way to.
Yeah.
What time of the day on Tuesday is that, Terry?
5 o'clock. Happy
5.
hour.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
It's 5
Easy
o'clock
way to
somewhere.
remember.
We
Yes,
said
5 o'clock
yesterday.
somewhere.
Happy hour is at 5:01 once you get finished with your work day.
Okay, so I'll be a minute late every week then, Mary Lou.
Well, then I got you there late this time, didn't I?
Yeah, we did the land blessing yesterday, so I was just a bit
Really
late
late.
getting back in time to do it, but it all worked out. It was all great. It was a beautiful day.
Do you have it posted yet, the land blessing, so I can
I
see it?
did.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's up. It's on YouTube, and I posted that link. If you want, I can post it into the morning group
Yes,
that we all
please.
have going. Okay, I would do that. Well, we're almost out of time, and I know we had Janet listening, and Hope, our beautiful Hope from the UK, was listening in with us, and
Hey, Hope.
somebody on YouTube. I don't have a name. But welcome to everyone that did come in and listen to the discussion. And you're welcome to come into the book club with us every week, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And for the whole month of January, we're talking about, ladies and gents, hold your books up, The Course in Miracles Experiment by Pam Grout. I love it. I love this book. I love the energy of
Terry?
it. And yes.
Did you notice mine's backwards?
No,
Yours
yours
is
is
forward.
backwards.
It only
Mine's
looks
backward.
backwards to you, Jean. That's what I was
It's a
talking about
mirror.
with trying to fix my hair the other day on
Oh,
Zoom,
because
and I
you're
just kept
backwards.
doing it.
Oh, okay.
That's why
You know what? That
it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. Good
But
one,
you know
Charlie.
what has hit me about all this? You know what's really hit me important about doing this Course in Miracles? And I'm maybe being silly, but it made me realize how much we actually live in our head instead of live in the present. You know, it's like we're doing all this in our head and we're missing everything that's going on or that we could do right now in the present. Instead, anyway, that was important to me, that I realized how much we live in our heads.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
And
Good
let
point,
other
Jean.
people and other things live in our head as well. That just, why make room for that when you can make room for something loving and positive and but it's making more sense already in just 6 lessons or 6 of these that, oh my goodness, I thought I had been working on this and there's just so much more room that I can make, which is nice. It's nice to know that there's always more room for positive if you bring some things to the goodwill and let them go.
Yeah, absolutely. Or call that bouncer in and say,
call
get here.
Matthew McConaughey.
And the thing is, Tina, that it never stops. In my 70s, this book is going to be beneficial to me. I'm set in my ways with some things that I didn't realize I imagine, that were happening. And so it keeps your open mind as long as, you're alive. You got to have those willingness to recognize and, pat yourself on the back too when you can, because there's good things that you did learn, but I think, it's that circle of life, we're always coming around and learning and relearning. And that's, isn't that awesome? I love it that that's happening to us. Yeah.
Yeah. I do too.
I love that.
It's awesome to know it can happen. I mean, that's one thing I think that you do learn in time is that when you do have enough things, that there's other, you can overcome and you can have success. And
you're not locked into painful experiences of your past. I mean, Keith kind of showed us that, didn't he, in his Angels book? You're always moving forward, and so embrace that. That's what I try to do. Just
embrace
be glad.
The journey.
Yeah, it's a journey, right?
Yeah.
It is.
I finished Keith's book, by the way, the other night. So
good. And I think Jean did too, didn't you, Jean?
It was so resonating with me because it was on parallel with my life, how it went and everything,
Yeah, I think many of us resonated with those stories and the experiences.
Yeah.
All right, so onward we go. There's a meditation coming up at 2:00, so we're going to get off the channel.
All right.
And so many blessings to all of you. I love you so much. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Exactly.
In threes.
Exactly.
I love you, explicit, I love you.
I love you.
There you go, Jean. So we always end our show with acknowledging the spirit that's in each of us as the same that's in you. And we say it with a namaste,
Namaste,
y'all.
y'all.
Love you so much. Bye, everybody.